Even if every readership survey said nobody wants to read about the war in Iraq, I'm still going to cover the war in Iraq.
Since the start of the war, the LA Times has been one of the few newspapers to maintain a full-time reporting presence in Iraq, with journalists like Alyssa Rubin risking their lives to get the story.
I mean, we sort of have two bad choices. You either go through this area, which is Haifa Street, where there's bombing and shooting and IEDs.
There are only 3 American newspapers that are on the ground in Iraq: the LA Times, the New York Times, and the Washington Post. USA Today goes in and out. They have one person. He's there on the ground sometimes, and then he gets out. The wires are obviously there all the time.
Leaving the hotel is the most dangerous thing we do every day.
But nobody else has full-time staffers, always there. That's appalling. The thought that we would reduce that to 2, maybe even one day 1, that can't be, I mean, that can't be good for the country.
We're saying there's a role for probably 3 national newspapers: the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, and USA Today. Each has its own niche. All 3 are national newspapers. We don't think there's any demand for a 4th. The demand is for a very strong, high-quality, local newspaper focused on the things that people in LA care about: style, Hollywood, entertainment, local government, local sports, local issues like immigration. If he was focused on all those issues, there'd be a lot of demand for his product. Instead, he's trying to be the 4th national newspaper.
The idea that you're going to say to readers, buy the LA Times, we will tell you what's going on with the traffic and the schools and the cops and the local stuff. And if you want to know what's going on in Iraq, go buy the New York Times. I mean, that doesn't sound like a terribly sound business approach either. And I think if I were a Los Angelino, I would be a little insulted by that. I think the gravest danger facing our business is panic. Panic that the stock price has gone down, panic that the ad revenues are moving away, and that the only way to keep up is to cut and cut and cut, and they end up downsizing and hollowing out their reporting and editing staffs.
It sounds like
No, my argument was invariably.
By the late summer of 2006, editor Dean Baquet was becoming a symbol for embattled newspaper editors around the country faced with similar cutbacks.